Archaeologists have discovered a huge ancient city hidden underground in Mexico which may give a better understanding of the Maya civilization. The idea of uncovering an ancient tomb sends shivers down my spine, but knowing that a perfectly untouched Mayan tomb has just been opened, that's beyond thrilling. When I study carefully the last days of Cleopatra, I realized it was the beginning of a religious act that might ended up with her being buried in the temple, and her lost tomb could be found there. I'm talking about a discovery so rare and mysterious that even experts struggle to make sense of it: hidden artifacts, cryptic symbols, and secrets buried for centuries. This find could rewrite everything we know about the ancient Mayans. Let me take it back a bit to 2022. Archaeologist Francisco Estradabelli from Tulane University, along with his intrepid team, stumbled upon a jaw-dropping discovery just 6 feet away from where looters had called it quits. Nestled in Chacham, Guatemala, they unearthed an untouched tomb that wasn't just any old resting place. It belonged to a high-ranking Maya priest or king named WTI and dated back a whopping 1,700 years to around 350 CE. Now if you think finding an ancient tomb is cool, consider this: inside were treasures that would make any history buff's heart skip a beat. We're talking about a mosaic jade mask that shimmers with the wisdom of ages, over 16 sponda shells. Those are spiny oyster shells that were the ancient Maya's equivalent of designer labels, and even human femur bones carved with the kind of artistry that makes you wonder about the hands that crafted them. One of these bones even had the profile of presumably King WTI himself, clutching a jade mask similar to the one found alongside him. And as if the finds themselves weren't enough to write home about, the hieroglyphs etched on these artifacts were like a gossip column from the past. They dished out details on WTI's lineage, connecting him to the big-shot Maya cities of Tikal and Teotihuacan. According to Estradabelli, snagging this tomb was a bit like winning the lottery in terms of information, and honestly, who could disagree? It's like peeking through a keyhole into an era that's mostly a mystery, giving us the juicy details on Maya religious practices and royal successions during the early Classic period. This tomb raid, the good kind, wasn't just luck. It was made possible by some pretty slick tech called LiDAR, which lets you spot hidden goodies under the jungle canopy. This is the same tech that revealed the looters' old tunnels, leading the team right to WTI's untouched time capsule. The artifacts found are now under careful study, promising to spill even more ancient secrets. Switching continents and centuries, let's zip back to 1939 when French archaeologist Pierre Montet was poking around Tanis, an ancient city in Egypt's Nile Delta. On a cool February day, the 27th to be precise, Montet and his team stumbled upon a stone-blocked underground chamber. What they found inside was nothing short of a time capsule, decorated limestone rooms filled with the stone sarcophagi of ancient Egyptian bigwigs. It was a jackpot moment, but this was just the beginning. As they moved on to mid-March, the team hit the archaeological jackpot again. They uncovered another tomb, this one untouched and sealed up like a vintage wine bottle. Inside was Pharaoh Suzenzai, who ruled over Egypt more than 3,000 years ago. Unlike the tombs you hear about in all those mummy movies, thieves hadn't touched this one. The treasures inside were pristine and dazzling. Now here's where it gets even shinier. The highlight was a coffin made entirely of solid silver. Imagine that. Silver was a bigger deal in ancient Egypt than gold since it had to be imported. That's how Suzenz got his flashy nickname, the Silver Pharaoh. But that's not all. When they lifted the lid of this luxurious coffin, there lay a gold mask adorned with lapis lazuli and glass inlays, staring back at them with all the serenity of the ages. The tomb was also a treasure trove of jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, rings, all crafted in gold and silver, along with amulets and small statues that showcased the exquisite craftsmanship of the time. These finds didn't just sparkle, they provided a deep dive into ancient Egypt's rich culture and wealth. This discovery remains one of the grand slams in the world of archaeology, shedding light on a period of Egyptian history that was as dusty and obscure as the chambers they unearthed. And guess what? If you ever find yourself in Cairo, swing by the Egyptian Museum, you'll get to see these treasures in person. And yes, they're guaranteed to knock your socks off. But wait, there's more. In December 2018, just when you thought Egypt had given up all its secrets, along comes a team led by the intrepid Mustafa Waziri. They were at the Saqqara necropolis, just a hop, skip, and a jump south of Cairo, when they stumbled upon something that'd make any history buff's heart skip a beat: a completely untouched tomb dating back a whopping 4,400 years to the 5th dynasty. Yep, that's the era of the pharaoh Neferikare. The man of the hour, or let's be honest, millennia, was a high-ranking priest named Warti. This guy wasn't just any old priest, he was a big deal back in the day, and his tomb is like a time capsule from ancient Egypt. Stretching about 33 feet long and 10 feet wide, it's decked out with vibrant paintings and intricate sculptures that have stood the test of time without losing a hint of their swagger. The art inside? Absolutely stunning. It shows Warty hanging out with his family, his mom Merit Meen, his wife Weniter, and his 4 kids, 3 bustling boys and 1 darling daughter. These wall paintings are more than just decor, they're a peek into the daily life of a man who was both a family guy and a societal heavyweight. Now here's where it gets even more Indiana Jones. Inside the tomb, the archaeologists found 5 shafts. One of these was wide open and sadly empty, but the other 4? Sealed tight as a drum, untouched since the days when pharaohs ruled the roost. The team was buzzing with excitement, hoping these hidden shafts might hold Warty's sarcophagus or some other juicy artifacts. And the scenes painted across the tomb's walls? They're like a comic strip of ancient Egyptian life. You've got musical concerts, boat sailing expeditions, craftsmen making furniture, and even potters spinning their wheels. It's a full-on visual guide to what mattered in Warty's world, showcasing everything from his professional duties to the cultural vibes of the time. The big reveal of Warty's tomb wasn't just another day at the office for these archaeologists, it was hailed as one of the most significant finds in recent memory. Why? Because this pristine tomb was a goldmine of information, giving scholars a rare, unfiltered look at ancient Egypt's fascinating, and often elusive, past.